Good at everything. Look at this swanky hotel I'm in. Kind of fun. This is Madrid. It's like 100 degrees. All right, you guys, whoever wants laser coaching, put your name in the chat. I'll see what we have in terms of our those who filled out a form a little earlier. And away we go. I did want to mention one thing. Before we started, and the one thing I want to mention, maybe I can work it into some coaching. But it's this idea that you get out what you put in. Like in life, like at large, like you get out of life what you put into life. Like you're going to get out of a course what you put into a course. And what I find time and again and it doesn't matter which course you're in with us, because people here today, they're in Living Ayurveda, and there's people here today that are in yoga health coaching, which is morphing into Wellness Pro Academy. There's people here today that are in Master of You, which is morphing into the Hero Journey. And I've been doing this for so long, right? Like leading these courses for so long. And so often a member will have an issue, and the members that have the most issues are the ones that don't show up. They're the members that don't do the course. Like they don't show up, they don't engage, they don't do the lesson, they don't do the course. And they're like, it didn't work. And it's like, yeah, that's right. Because you get out what you put in. And so it's just a thing. It's a thing in life. And I don't mean to say that it has to be like your whole all-consuming life at all. In fact, I think with what many people find who, how do I say this, who become increasingly focused with time, is that like you can get a lot, you get out what you put in. Like you can get a lot out of a small amount of time, small amount of dedicated engagement, as long as you know that that's where your attention is going 100% in that time. So it's not like this has to consume your whole life. And the more, I'd say, strategic you are about exactly what you want to get out of the course that you're in, like exactly what you want to get out, and then you look at your schedule and you say, exactly what do I need to put in order to get that out, I promise we are here for you.
I think if I could read it, it would be clearer and shorter.
Oh, okay, I can read it. So, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Why don't I just share a screen on these, especially the ones that are really long? Okay, so which leads to follow first? Experiences, strategy sessions, free talks. I'm kind of stuck in this place where people know what I'm doing, but I'm either not asking them to buy or asking them too soon.
Yeah.
When I don't ask, there's a more informal banter or request for consults back and forth, and they tell me what they think about what works to be healthy. So are you setting up strategy sessions and following a bit of like our script or template?
Yes. Yes, definitely.
Okay.
When I actually get someone to say, yes, I want a strategy session, I follow the script, I'm getting better at it, it's great. But it's kind of this in between where maybe I'm not asking them, but then they start talking about it, but then, yeah. Yeah.
You're not asking them what?
I think I'm not directly asking them, hey, let's have a strategy session.
Okay.
I'll call it a body goals or how are you doing? And it ends up being really informal. And I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
And then it'll go on and we'll meet again and they'll call me and I'll invite them to free talks or things. And then they'll be involved, but they're acquaintances. So it gets to be this.
Yeah.
We meet and they talk about their thing and then the thing, and then they come back and they try to support me in things that I'm doing.
Right. But they're not going to be paying clients. Like that's, so there's sometimes that question, right? Of like the way that they can probably support you is referrals.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's like, if they have issues and you've already gone through the, you basically know what their goal is, what their challenge is, what it's worth to them, like if they're willing to change, and they're like, no, I'm not going to take your course, then it's like, but they still want to support your work. That's a really great person to be like, who do you know who has issues with this that you can introduce me to? And then just let it go.
But I'm also wondering, am I just not asking them to take my course? I'm not actually telling them about my course or inviting them to my course. I'm inviting them to free talks and trying to like do other things and send them email and get them on my list, but I'm not actually inviting them to my course. And
so you're not having like some of them, it sounds like we're talking about a bunch of different people. So yeah, okay. So there might be a number of different issues that might be good to isolate with, like, we'll say Josie hasn't actually had a strategy session. Cheryl has had a strategy session and has had an offer and doesn't want to take the course. Like Joanne has had a strategy session that kind of went wonky and we didn't really assess what was going on, right? So now we have like 3 different issues. And you guys, this is pretty common and I think this is one of the hardest things is like, as healers, you get someone who walks in the door and they have 3 different issues, and they're like, there's this issue with the Panavayu, and then there's this issue with excess pitta in the liver, and then there's this issue with 20 pounds of ama. And we see them as like 3 really, like, we can see that there's this person who's coming to us has different issues, right, that are all stacked together into a pattern. And the same, we could look at our own sales process, our own marketing to sales process in the same way of like, what are some of the different issues? If I have to look at myself, it's like, okay, well, I need to see what happened with Josie and Cheryl, and I can't remember the other one, Joanne, right? I need to see what's happening. And to some degree, it's self-diagnosis. So I had a sales conversation today, and I could tell, and I sort of thought it was like a bit of like a shit or get off the pot kind of conversation. Do you guys have that expression in your various parts of the world? Which is the person just needs to actually make a decision. And if I can assist them in making that decision, great, because then they can move on. They can just move on from that, being in that limbo. But what I actually found in the conversation, that wasn't really it. Like, this person had been burned so bad, she actually needed to grow trust. So I had to change gears and be like, oh, she doesn't trust yet. Like, she doesn't trust me. She doesn't trust us. She doesn't trust them. Like, she doesn't trust us yet. Okay. So there's no shitting or getting off the pot. Like, even if she were to join without trust, because people do that, they join without trust, and then you get buyer's remorse. You get this weird shadow issue, and it can chase the person for a long time in the course, and it can create problems 6 months down the road. So even if she shits, so to speak, it's not the right way. It's a problem in my sales process that I need to own. If she just gets scared and leaves, that's also a problem, because it wasn't that it wasn't a good fit. It was just an issue of know, like, and trust. So she knows of us. She's known us for a long time. She likes us. She thinks we may be trustworthy, but she has so much freaking trauma to process over getting burned in another coaching course, right? That if, like, I don't really see what's going on with just that one thing, like, doesn't help her. Doesn't help her actually get to the end result, which is that being successful in wellness, in our Wellness Pro side. The same thing's true with any type of client, with any type of issue. It's like, you have to use the strategy session to assess, like, what goals does this person have? What challenges does this person have in meeting those goals? Why now? Why is this important to this person right now? So it's like 4 questions, right? Like, why now? And then, are they willing to change? Like, are they willing to invest? And if so, what could stop them? Where have they stopped in the past? You know, if you're getting a lot of objections, you can go to that. But otherwise, at this point, you can talk about the solution, and you can do that with, I mean, it's a very simple question. Would you like to know how I can help you? Should we all say that together? Like this group therapy. Would you like to know how I can help you? Yeah, just say it out loud. It's a pretty simple sentence. So you don't have to, you get invited to talk about your solution. Would you like to know how I can help you? There's no reason like that question will not make sense unless you know what their problem is. So that's why you want to practice that question quite a bit. And you want to say like, oh shoot, I made an offer again before I asked permission to make an offer. That's just asking permission. In our sales training, it's also under the yes train, where you're asking permission to proceed. Okay, we did part 1 of the agenda. Do I have permission to proceed, right? So I'll often do at the beginning of a call, someone is scheduled with me, and it's like, okay, this is what the agenda. Do I have your agreement? And can we agree to this? Now, I may interrupt you to keep us on course. Is that okay with you? Yes, that's yes train, right? But the thing is, you guys, these are skills. Sales is skills, marketing is skills, and they're skills that I can't say it enough. Like, they often don't come that easily to us as wellness pros. So we have to earn them. But once we earn them, they don't go away. Like, so you earn them, you have them for life. It's a skill set. And so what I would do, Danielle, is I would really look, like, write down, like, do reflection on like these people that you know you can help and they're not enrolled. And then diagnostically look at it and say, do I know what their challenge is? Do they know what their challenge is? And even before that, do I know what their goal is? Okay. Is it fuzzy? If it's fuzzy, it's either fuzzy on their part or it's fuzzy on my part. I got to go back to the goal. What's the goal? And the goal can't be like, I want to feel great. Like, the goal has got to be, it's got to be a smart goal. It's got to be specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time bound, meaning it's got to be a goal by when, not like a goal in the amorphous infinite future that goes on for 5 lifetimes. It's like, like, by when? By like a year from now. So if you do that with each person, right? So I would just make a little graph, right? Name at the top. Next line. What's this person's goal? Is it smart, specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, time bound? Okay. For some of them, you'll be like, oh, I've got part of the puzzle there. They've got part of the puzzle. A lot of what you guys are going to do is coach goals out of people. They don't know. They don't know what their goals are. So you help them get specific. You help them get, realistic with time. Some people will give you goals and you'll be like, okay, by that horizon, like, given where you're at, like, does this actually feel possible? Some people might really go into like dreamy dreamland, but it's not really anchored in reality. So you're coaching them with that goal part of like, is this realistic? Realistic. Okay, now we know what the goals are. What are the challenges in meeting this goal? Another way to say that question is like, why haven't you reached these goals yet? I like to start with a challenge, but then go a little deeper and probe a little bit more in. We have to be willing to be uncomfortable. This is not friends hanging out. Strategy sessions are coaching, and it's coaching to find the goal and the challenge. Once we know those two things and they're real, and it's like, well, where have we stopped before? Now I'm getting real with the challenge, because some people that you guys are going to talk to are going to be like all law of attraction and dreamy land, but it's not happening. So you got to dig a little deeper, like underneath that little layer of Teflon, and be like, how long have you had this goal for? How long have you had these challenges for? And help them get real. Because otherwise you're not going to know how willing they are to invest. So I talked to someone today who's a friend, and I needed her input as a writer. And so I was kind of calling her for a favor, and I called her and she needed a favor. And I was like, let's do this, let's throw down. So we used deliberating structure. We used 9 whys. And she's like, you just saved me. And I coached her for maybe 20 minutes. I'm so sorry for the background noise. It should be going away in a minute. Maybe 20 minutes. And she's like, you just saved me so much time. I mean, I probably saved her 120 hours in 20 minutes. Right. And so that's being willing to go deep fast with someone. And that's super huge, right? Huge benefit to strategy sessions. If you can't sell someone on a strategy session, right? They're not signing up for the strategy session. It's because you don't know the value of it. Because you don't know your process, you don't know your value of it, right? So it's okay. It's okay. Because you guys, we do have time to get better at skills. Do we all agree? Like we've got some life in us, we've got some ojus in us, like we can get better at skills. We've already gotten better at skills. So this is just another skill set. So part of what we need to do is sell the value of the session. If we don't know what's going to happen in the session, we practice strategy sessions. And you guys, in the first part of YHC, it's a lot of practicing strategy sessions. It's a lot of that. And it's a lot of practicing laser coaching. It's a lot of that, or coaching gyms. Why? Because after running YHC from 2012 to 2017, when I like redid it, I was like, these are massively basic skills that we all need a ton of practice in until we're just masters at it. Like practice laser coaching so you can help someone in 15 minutes. Any person you meet, you can help them dramatically in 15 minutes. That's coaching gyms. Strategy sessions, core sales. It's just a core sales skill. Like, can you find the problem or the goal? Sometimes they come with a problem, sometimes they come with a goal. You need to find out both. Any problem, there's a goal underneath it. Any goal, there's a problem that's coming up because they're not there yet, right? So we just get good at that. You can offer those for free, but say, hey, it's valuable, but I'm going to give you one of these for free. You're my mother, uncle, sister, dog, doesn't matter. Like we need to get good. I need to get good at this now. I need to get good at this yesterday. Let me see if I can find it, please. Okay, so once we've got that, we can go into willingness. You know, it's like there's an issue of timing and an issue of willingness. I have not yet asked them if they would like to know how I can help them. There's no offer on the table yet. So you guys, in yoga, this is krama. Krama. Krama means there's a sequence. There's order. We live in a universe where order matters. We can't just discount order, that there's an order to things. Apana vayu precedes prana vayu. There's a downward motion before an upward motion, right? It's like you inhale and there's extension downwards. You exhale, there's extension upwards. The baby comes in and it inhales, right? Life is first. The person dies and they exhale. There's order, there's order, there's order. There's order in sales. If we respect the order, we experience higher order. It's awesome. So whenever there's issues, right, it's like, okay, name of the person. What's the goal? Is the goal smart? What's the challenge behind the goal? Let's get real. Why hasn't this happened yet? This goal that they have, like, what's going on? How long have they had this goal? Like, what are the problems underneath the problems? Let's really find out. Before we go on, we want to fully understand, like, what is the nature of the challenge? Okay, why now? How important now? Right? So that why now is really, really important. Because if they're like, it doesn't really matter now, then there's like no reason to really make an offer. But often there's a reason that things are coming up now. And I would say this is more than ever. There's more urgency, I find there's more urgency than ever. Just with the living in a VUCA world that's volatile and uncertain, right? That we have chaos and ambiguity, like time's moving faster. So people are more willing to solve their problems right now because tomorrow's less certain. So you might as well take action. All right. Then, would you like to know how I can help you? But that's way down the road. And if they say yes, then you're like, I have a program. This is, and I usually start with like, this is the best way that I can help you. Like, I have something that can help you. I've designed it to help you, right? So start here and we'll do this. And then you don't keep talking. You keep that super short. They will ask you the right questions. Don't assume you know the questions they're going to ask. Just be like, I have a program. This is why it's designed. And then you repeat back exactly what their challenges were. If you know you can help them with your program, and even if you think you can, that's good enough, really, in the beginning, I promise, because you need the experience. But I mean, it's been amazing. I've got to say, in the last like 10 years of YHC, like coaches running pilots get great results for members. We've just seen it again and again and again. So I trust in your all's experience with members. You need to trust in yourself with that to some degree in the beginning. Okay, is that helpful, Danielle? Yeah, you're good.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
You're good. Who else needed to hear this right now? Okay, so thank you for being super helpful to lots of other members on the call, Danielle. They all appreciate it. Okay, cool.
All right. Peace out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Take action. Honestly, like listening's good. Action's better. Mwah.